All right, so we're gonna work on some more dividing polynomials, and we're in 3.5, part of the lesson 5D. And so what you're doing here is you're still doing the same thing, even though our divisor looks bigger, we're still doing the same thing, okay? Even when it looks like this and smaller, you're still asking yourself those same exact questions, right? Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to do, and hopefully I do it right this time, is I'm going to copy down the question correctly. So then I'm going to copy that down. So I go, let's leave a little space. So x to the fourth minus 23x cubed plus 49x plus 4 divided by x squared plus x plus 2. Now, I don't know if you already noticed, but one of the things that I noticed is that we're missing a squared term, which if you were listening to me, that's why I kind of messed up how I said something, I think. So what I need to do is I want a placeholder because eventually it's going to show up, and you'll see why I'm moving this over. I'm just going to scoot it over just enough so I have a place for that 0x squared. Just imagine that I need a place there because when I multiply out, I'm going to have an x squared. So I definitely want a place right there. So your problem is going to be exactly the same as we did earlier. You're going to ask yourself x squared times what gives you x to the fourth. You're going to multiply all the way through to make sure that you're getting that. Before I move on, I just want to make sure that I divide out correctly. X squared minus 23x cubed plus 49x plus 4 divided by x squared plus x plus 2. Okay, so the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to say x squared times what gives me x to the fourth. And then you're like, oh, that's x squared. So I'm going to put it x squared here on top of where the x squared space is. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did before, which is multiply out. So I'm going to multiply here. And I go x to the fourth, x cubed, and then plus 2x squared. Right? And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to change my signs. If it's positive, now it's negative. It's negative, now it's positive. So all three of these turn negative because, again, I'm subtracting. And then I'm going to add them together. So then these two go away, which means I did that part right. And then I'm just going to be careful to make sure that I subtract correctly. So negative 24x cubed minus 2x squared. And then I'm just going to copy everybody else down just so everybody's all together and I don't forget anybody. And then I'd ask myself again, x squared times what gives me negative 24x cubed? And you'd be like, oh, that's minus 24x, right? I'm like, exactly. And then I'm just going to, again, multiply and distribute all the way through. So then negative 24 times x squared is negative 24x cubed. Negative 24x times x is negative 24x squared. Negative 24 times positive 2 is negative 48x. Let me just check my answers really quick. So negative 24x cubed minus 24x squared, and then minus 48x, which that's perfect. So then again, I'm going to go through and change all my signs because now I'm subtracting. So I'm going to change everybody to their opposite. And then so this is 0. So that means, again, I did it correctly. Then again, I'm just going to take my time and make sure that I don't make any mistakes. So let's see, 49 plus 48, that's a really big number. So 80, 97, 97x plus 4. If you guys can check my my arithmetic, that would be fantastic. All right. So then x squared times what gives me 22x squared. So then again, that's plus 22. So then I'm going to go, so that's 22x squared. And then that's 22 x's. And that's 44. And then again, I'm going to go through and change my signs. So that's 0. This is what, 75x minus 40. And I can't do anymore, right? X squared times doesn't give me 75x, right? So I'm kind of stuck if you think about me being stuck, right? So this would be considered my remainder. And if you remember what remainder means, a remainder means that this is not a factor of this. A remainder, if you have a remainder, it means this is not a factor of this, okay? Okay. So then, Ms. Johnson, what do you want us to do next? Well, let's look at the directions. And so the directions said all the way up here, divide each of the following polynomials. Okay, we did that. And it says, write the 2 multiplication statements that go with the answers if there is a remainder. Write only 1 multiplication statement if the divisor is a factor. Use graphing technology to check your answer and make the necessary corrections. So they want these 2, one with it as a plus and one with it as having a denominator. Okay. Okay, so let me see. So before I go on, I want to check my answer. So I'm going to use my calculator. So here goes my calculator. Oops, let me show you. So go here. And I go here, and I'm just going to type this all out as the numerator. So x to the 4th minus 23x cubed plus 49x plus 4. Let's see if I type that correctly. X to the 4th minus 23x cubed plus 49x. Yes. Okay. And then divide that. Oops. What? Excuse me. Divide that by, and then putting it in parentheses, x squared plus x plus 2. So I get this function right here, which, has this curve like this, right? And then, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to plug this guy in. Now, I have to do it in the 2 ways that they told me. So I'm going to reach back and make sure that you all are comfortable with writing those answers. Okay. So if here's the answer, and we found this, so it's this divided by this is equal to this remainder this. And you can imagine our remainder right here. You can imagine our quotient and all this stuff. So this 2x plus 3, so let's just highlight a bunch of things so that you guys all see where everything is coming from. This 2x plus 3 shows up over and over again. Here, 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 okay? This answer, which makes sense, is also here, here, and here. Here's my remainder. It's here, here, and here. And this 2x plus 3, yeah, he showed up one more time down here. Okay, so we're going to rewrite it like this. Okay, so kind of keep this in mind when I'm writing it over here. So here's my 2 multiplication statements. The first one is going to be, let me make this a little bit smaller so you guys can see everything at the same time. So the first one is going to be this times this. So I'm going to write that out. I'm going to say, oops. So I'm going to write out x squared plus x plus 2 times, so I'm going to write the divisor times the answer. So that's x squared minus 24x plus 22. And then I'm going to add on this denominator. Okay, is equal to, and then our dividend, x to the 4th minus 23x cubed plus 49x plus 4. Okay, so there goes one multiplication statement. This is the one with the remainder right there being added by itself. The other one is just 2 big parentheses, and the first one looks exactly like the first one. So x squared plus x plus 2. It starts off exactly the same. Minus 24x plus 22. Then we're going to add, and then this is the equivalent of, remember how we used to write, like there's 2 ways to write it. This way here with like the r, and then we would just add it to 1. Or this way right here, you guys are more used to doing this, with the divisor being the denominator. right? So I'm going to write my divisor right here as my denominator. So x squared plus x plus 2. And then this guy right here, my remainder. So let's remind you that this is our remainder down here. Okay. So I'm going to take my remainder and put it as my numerator. So that's 75x minus 40. So there goes. These are my two multiplication statements. It's just a matter of remembering what it meant. Okay. Don't try to go for like, oh, I got to memorize that this guy goes here. And then I forgot a parenthesis. This guy goes here, this guy goes here, this guy goes here. Just understand it. So if I rewrote, I think they use 25. If I rewrite 25, I could rewrite it as 3 times 8 plus 1. Or I can rewrite it with a little fraction. And so that would be 3 times 8 plus 1/3. Okay. So don't get too like bogged down by how to write it. Just kind of really go for understanding on why these both make sense. So what I really want to do is check my answer. So I'm going to plug this side in and see they should all overlap. If they don't overlap, then I did something wrong. Oh, wait, what am I doing? They should not overlap. Sorry. So this is me dividing, right? So me dividing this divided by this is going to give this answer, right? Plus this. So I should really go after not this one. I'm just going to turn this off for just a second. I really want to write out these statements and make sure that they're accurate. So I'm going to go x squared plus x plus 2, close open parentheses. Oops. This is funny right here, sorry. So open, and then x squared minus 24x plus 22. And I'm going to do this one up here first. Close parentheses plus 75x minus 40. Okay, so it's this crazy blue one. These two are not the same and they shouldn't be because this is the division statement and this is just the divisor, just the dividend rather. So here's one answer. I'm going to write this other answer out and then I'm going to write the right side out. They should all overlap. So I'm going to copy this because most of this is the same. So copy this here, right? And then get in here and then add the numerator is going to be 75x minus 40. And then this is going to be divided by x squared plus x plus 2, right? Notice the green and the blue are the same. The last one that I want to fill in is this because I'm saying they're all equal. So I'm going to write this out as x to the 4th minus 4x squared. Wait, what am I doing? No, I'm doing this. Sorry. X to the 4th minus 23x. I don't know what I was thinking. 23x cubed. 23x to the 3rd plus 49x plus 4. Oops, not 7, 4. And see, they all match, right? Do you see how they all match? This guy, and this guy, they all match. It means I'm correct. Okay, so here's the whole picture of it. If I zoom all the way out, then you see more of his curves. There's a lot of little curves. Right, and some of you are like, where did this guy come from? Yeah, he's to the 4th, so he's gonna start up here, go down, come back up, go down, and then end all the way up here, right? So you can kind of see them there. All right, so with that being said, hopefully that makes sense. So when you're dividing, I don't care what your divisor is, if it's a quadratic, if it's a trinomial, if it's a cubic, your work is still the same. So how many of these go in here? Distribute, subtract, how many of these go in here, distribute, subtract. How many of these go in here? Distribute and subtract. And then you have a remainder. The remainder tells you that this is not a factor because it's not 0, right? All right. Have a great day.